Oh my gosh, everybody looks so good, ready for the holidays. And look at us. Are we cool? Well, you're red, but you're the oddball. So this is the last class of the year. Oh, it's sad, but we have a great plan for you. You're going to have so much fun because some of the students brought their finished new quilts, plus we have a box of old quilts, and you're not going to believe what's on the bed. Oh my gosh, so much fun. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to step to the side, and whenever you see your quilt, we're going to give you the microphone to come up and talk, because we can hear you in the room, but the people out there have to hear the mic. So, are you ready, Eric? Oh, there it is, huh? It's ready. Okay, so I'm going to step aside. Ready? Who has the top quilt?
That was me.
That'd be you, Julie. You just jump right up and stand beside it, and you can tell us all about it. Wow.
Okay, this is our quilt from last month.
Oh, wow.
It's a jelly roll, and I didn't realize how many peacock feathers they put in the jelly roll. So the peacock feathers. It's in 3 or 4 different colors, but it makes a lot of peacock feathers. So I quilted it with peacock feathers. But it's
great.
But it's kind of a low contrast versus the really beautiful one on the front of the pattern. But I liked it.
Oh my gosh. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay, so maybe I'll just hold this quilt. The next one is yours too, Julie?
What?
That one's
This
yours
is me too, yes.
Okay, okay, Gail, thank you.
This is my grand view.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be a birth quilt for a friend's brand new daughter.
Oh, that is beautiful. The quilting is done in a kind of a peach-colored thread. It's really wonderful.
It's a peach posy, yes.
Wow, I love your big old fussy cuts right in the middle.
Thank you, Patty, for teaching me better ways to do fussy cuts than how I used to do them. There was a lot of fussy cutting.
That's one thing you learned this year.
Oh, I've learned many things, but that was from that lesson, yes.
Fussy cuts.
They do.
That is great. That is really terrific. Great. Good job. Okay. Okay. It's you say Anzo?
Uh-huh.
Anzo? This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Look at this one.
I was actually not here the month that you taught this or showed this one, but Karen was, and she showed us how to do it. So between the webinar, watching it again, and Karen, that's done, and except for the binding, and I'm here today to get some binding to go around it.
Yay, we
Yeah,
have
thank you.
binding. I love the way you did the pattern, you know, arranging them. It's kind of easier than a scrap quilt, isn't it? When you have a plan and then just put them in place. I know, I like it that way too.
Yeah.
Cool, that is really nice. Okay, good, good. And
There's
whoa!
There's a story on the back. I wanted to get this to the quilter, and I was working really hard to get the top done, and I realized at 4 o'clock that afternoon that I hadn't planned on what I was putting on the back. So I found something in my stash, and then I wasn't happy with it. I went to bed at 4 a.m. I woke up thinking about the back of this quilt. And I'd actually bought this fabric here, and a friend of mine said, "What are you going to do with it?" I don't know, but I love it. So it actually works perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
And is this pieced, or is that the way?
I know. I pieced. I had to piece it to. Yeah.
So was it one piece originally, or?
Yeah. Two fabrics.
Two different
and
fabrics.
so I cut it to where it went. Like I didn't want it all half one gray and half black and white. So.
That's beautiful.
Okay, you may.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Fabrics, yeah.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
So.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, so hand the mic to Patty. Because the next I will assist you and you must talk. Okay, so step forward.
Well,
You get a
surprise.
mic.
I did not know I was in the staff. Okay. This, as some of you may recognize, is called the Mexican Star, a pattern we did several years ago. And I've been teaching classes in Arizona. The snowbirds come from Canada, and they all want to make the Mexican Star. And I didn't have a fresh one, so I had these fabrics from last year, and I said, well, I'll just make this quilt. And the blocks are quite large. You may notice they're 18-inch. And to fit it on my queen-size bed, I just laid it right on the top. You can put it on top of another quilt, a simple quilt, and with a couple of pillows.
Oh, Eric can't see.
With a couple of pillows, it just makes a nice festive look for the holidays.
Isn't it beautiful?
I did the
Oh,
magic binding.
you know the binding.
Yeah.
That adds so much to a quilt. It is just amazing how really little it is.
And the best part, when I'm in a hurry, I don't have time to hand sew. So this is completely on the machine, and it comes out perfect in those little mitered corners. I just sat back and admired my corners because they just come out so easy. Yeah. Okay.
That's cool.
Look at that.
All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Surprise.
Look at the
Look at-
back.
Amy surprised me with holly on the back. You can see it
Isn't
on
that
not on the
beautiful?
front, but when you turn it over, there's
Okay,
the holly
somebody go
berries.
real close on here. One of you guys. There we go. Wow.
And she calls this her snow pattern.
The circles.
Yeah, kind of
Oh,
like.
I should have brought my snowman. It definitely has snow on it. We'll have to get that. He has a lot of circles on it. It's very, very special.
Beautiful.
Cool. That's very cool. All right. Any other students' work? Is that Linda? All right. And this is Patty's going to hold it, and I guess I'm going to come over here
Okay.
and look at this. And you guys, it's great.
This is a pattern from a couple of months ago. I think it was called Summer Porch. And I found a batik layer cake that I thought was very attractive, and I just threw it together, and it was so easy.
You threw it together.
I just threw it together.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
That is just beautiful.
And thank you. Well, I had a long armor in my area. Karen Ebsmeyer, I believe her name is. She.
Very handy.
Yes, it is. It gets things done fast.
That is beautiful. Very nice. All
And
right.
the next one is mine. Yeah. I was a busy bee, I tell you. And I think this was the past month. And I decided that my granddaughter needed a cupcake quilt, so I put it together.
I love the cupcake.
I just started at a retreat and finished it up, and Judy Jackson did the quilting for me.
Oh,
Yeah, so, yeah.
so happy.
Yeah, I like the colors. I think my granddaughter's going to love it. It looks different.
It looks different, and the pattern's fun.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Cool. All right. So pass it to Valerie. We're kind of like do it on PBS and pass it over. Thank you, Valerie. Look how cute.
I made this for my husband. He's a Vietnam vet, and he was going through chemo, and I would put this on his lazy boy, so he'd have something clean and dry and colorful
Aw.
and comfortable to
That
sit
is
on.
great. That is great.
Yeah.
And the name of the pattern is?
I think it's Milky Way.
Milky Way. We did this a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's a lot of fun, huh? Yeah. Oh, and look at the back.
I just
Isn't that great?
I just put it on my domestic machine and did a little stitch in the ditch.
His $1 million baby.
That's what he used to call me.
Oh, we all want to be called $1 million baby. What a compliment. Oh, give him a hug for us. Oh, that's really great. Cool. And we have, yep. Cool. You got it. Everybody's got the idea.
This is one of 15 that I made for a group, one of my groups. So I made 15 of these. I put them on the long arm. This is a variation of our braid that we did last month.
I recognize that.
Doesn't have the little cornerstones. Very fast, very easy. Long arm them with a little snowflake. And this is one of 15.
That's great. That is great. That's really nice.
Snowflakes.
I have to pay somebody to do that.
Well, I have a long arm, so.
And
You
I
do it
saw a
yourself.
couple of them running out with charity quilts for the modern quilters.
Modern
Yes.
Quilt Guild, I donated 12 quilts yesterday.
Oh, beautiful. Are you on this side? Oh, she's heading that way. All right, Sandy.
This is from the October class, I think. And I have a lot of African fabrics, so it was fun to do. I had to, it was tricky to get the fussy cuts in the right place, but it's
did
fun. I hadn't
good.
a chance to quilt it yet, but
Very, very fussy.
it's very bright. That's what I like about African fabrics is they're very
So
bright.
different, though.
Yeah.
That looks really good. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Oh, yeah.
And this is
another
the
one.
braid. It's done from a jelly roll.
Beautiful.
Yes.
You
The
really
colors are pretty.
blended it nicely with
Thank you.
the purples running down through the middle. You did it. You
I
can
did
follow
it.
the directions.
That well, it's
That's really great.
not hard to follow.
Thank you, Sandy. That's cool. Yeah, and we should, I just realized if we give them their quilts back, that's smart, right? As they go. All right, Anne, look at this.
This is Summer
And-
Porch.
And so what is this across the bottom?
Okay, it says Schwinn. My brothers own and operate Schwinn Produce Farm.
Oh,
It started with sweet corn when my brother was in 4-H. Dad said he could keep the money if he picked and sold the sweet corn, and it's taken off. Every fruit and vegetable in here is something that my dad, my brother, or my sister has grown at one time.
Oh my gosh, what a concept.
And where are they located?
Leavenworth, Kansas.
In Kansas.
I live in Kansas City. I just come in, see my daughter every now and then.
From Kansas City. That is great. And did you do the quilting? Let's
My
show the
sister, Mary Beth Schrader, has a long arm, and she's my quilter.
Oh, how
And my
convenient.
co-conspirator.
That is very convenient.
Since mine also.
Cool.
And this is from Patty's birthday,
Yes.
and I did get it finished. So.
Yay! It's patty cake.
Patty cake.
And what I love about it is how soft. She laundered it. A lot of my quilts never get laundered. But the softness whenever they're laundered and just
Mary Beth quilted
they're
this one
like
also.
really desirable, you know, so cuddly. I love that. Good job. Well, we have 3 more kit classes coming up. You're going to have to make 3 more trips from Kansas. Cool. And so thank you for bringing them. And so Patty brought antique quilts. And
I like to go estate shopping with my friends, and so these are a couple of quilts I found estate shopping. So
that is really nice.
I just couldn't resist. I know.
That's really nice. It's such a nice scrap bag.
When you find them in such good shape, it's incredible.
Yes. So
I don't know. I haven't decided.
So-
Hopefully, but
it is hand pieced.
yeah.
It's hand pieced.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So whenever they do this, people like to use their clothing and their scraps, but I think I see a lot of aprons in here. What do you think? A lot of aprons. Beautiful. Like this is like a little kitchen print. That's so much fun. And the purples, wow. Really fun.
Such
Good
a find.
Great, a good find.
I
And
know.
This is
And this is another
exceptional.
one,
Look
yes.
at this one.
Yeah. Isn't that great? And I love the border. I know, isn't that fun? The Perry Point funds. Yeah, that's another
That-
one.
That is really nice with the sawtooth edge around the outside.
And it's all hand quilted.
It's all hand quilted. Let's look at the center, see if she's got a little belly button in there.
It looks like it's
Pretty,
been.
pretty flat,
Yeah.
huh?
Looks like it might have been fixed or something.
A little repair.
Parlor, but
These
otherwise,
colors are beautiful.
know.
The way this lavender goes around the outside edge, I really like that.
overall, I
Beautiful.
still thought it was just gorgeous. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job. Wow, more quilts? Anybody else have more quilts? Thank you, Patty. Anybody? Because Ansel brought a box of antique quilts that we are just going to pull out of the box. It's outside the box, and we're going to oh and ah, and she can tell us the story again. Look at this. Yeah, we're going to put it right here.
A friend of mine, several years ago, we were doing we had this little group, and we would swap out things, and she brought these quilts. And she goes, I don't want them. They take up too much room. My grandmother did some. My aunt did some. And so we said, you can't get rid of them. So we made her take them back.
Aw.
And a couple months ago, she called me again, and she goes, I need to get rid of the quilts.
Aw.
So they're all
we'll-
hand. They're all hand.
So I'll take.
all handwork.
Yes.
You can give it
Okay, okay,
Gail.
okay, and you can
Yeah.
keep on going through. And see, if you know the names, anybody
Yeah.
knows the names, don't be shy about calling out.
This
Look.
one she tied. You can see the yarn where she tied those.
Very nice.
It's the same quilt then, huh? Than
It
the
is.
other one.
Just a different color wave, huh?
It's
Yeah,
a different, it's the same quilt.
yeah.
Yeah, I wish I knew the name.
I don't know.
We use Barbara Brackman to look up all the pattern names. I think improved 9-patch. Brenda, thank you.
that it?
I should give you the book and you could figure out all the names. I remember that. And that's a pattern from Quilting a Day.
And there's no batting in this one. I can't remember if there are in the others. Summer quilt, that's why they call them that. Summer quilt.
You know what's really fun about this one? This is actually, if you think of like a radiant star or like a lone star, how they did all the strips. We do the strips and then cut them on the angle. But isn't that interesting? You know, if you put the two strips right sides together and you layer cut them, you get that mirror image kind of look. So it's really fun. We should do a new pattern.
Yeah, this would be
There
good.
we go, next
And it
year.
uses a lot of scraps. That one used a lot of scraps. And this one is just, yeah. It's not finished, but it's so delicate,
With
yes.
the real little diamonds.
What would you do with the ends to finish that? How would you finish?
Oh,
Can fill it in with just the background color to make it straight.
yeah.
Just fill in with a little white?
You can. Some people actually go in and out with a little narrow binding. I might have one similar in the stack. You know, honestly, I have one very similar to this. It's done. Let's
Yes,
look.
it's all
Okay.
hand-pieced.
Okay, let's look at the back. This is hand pieced.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about this. I personally think that before you would launder this, you should quilt it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because these seams are very narrow
Delicate,
and they fray out if you wash them. So you have to be careful. But this is a beautiful quilt.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Put a back on it and hand quilt it as well. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so dainty. It's really dainty. Yeah.
This is dynamite. I love
Yeah,
this
Doris
one.
loves this one. Yeah.
I know we like them all, huh?
My mother would have loved this one because she loved orange. Yeah. Can you see? What are you looking for?
So on this one, I'm trying to figure it out if she brought the back around to the front. It's just like a narrow, really narrow binding.
She did.
It's
She did from the back to the front.
there's actually no binding on the back side.
Oh,
And
so
just
she had
a
extra
narrow-
fabric and then you turn the door.
Somebody. Okay, I know what. Tony, will you come up here, please? You told us about a product just the other day to take the stains out, and I want you to talk in the mic
Yes.
so everybody
I'd
can
be
hear
happy
it.
to tell you. Hi, everyone. It's the product is called Forever New. It's for lingerie and stuff like that to do like hand washing, but you can use it in the washing machine. I put like a very little bit, like maybe 2 tablespoons at the most, for a quilt like this size. I throw it in the washing machine. I do it on gentle cycle with that cold water.
Yes.
And then you can put it in the dryer, but I would put it at a lower temperature and then maybe pull it out like halfway while it's halfway between, so it's not a little damp, and then lay it out, But it does take out those stains. It works great.
And what's
It's
it
called
again?
Forever New, and you can get it on Amazon.
I want it.
You can buy a 2-pack. It's a powder. I would get the powder, not the liquid. And it makes
Forever
it
New. I
smell
want to
nice
write
too.
this down. Forever
It really
New.
does.
Make notes for us, Brenda.
Forever
What's
New.
that? Well, there you go. You can use it for your spandex jeans.
And I thank you, Tony. But I just want to confirm something that Tony said. I know when he said put it in your washing machine, and some of you might have gasped. But I have a Maytag, and honestly, I wash my quilts too in the washer. Delicate, cold, but you have to really examine the quilt. One like this would launder beautifully. There are some that you shouldn't wash in the washing machine. It's kind of like a process. That's beautiful. Oh, it looks like, is it double Irish chain? It could be. It's like double Irish chain on point.
I was going to say, it's not, it's more.
That is beautiful.
It's so sad, though, that the family doesn't want to, embrace the work and the memories.
Oh, that is beautiful. I can't wait to see this basket coming up. Yellow basket. Oh, wow. This is gorgeous. Yes, it is. This is grandmother's basket in the grandmother's basket, grandmother's garden. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Flying geese border. See,
a lot of different patterns of the quilting in it. It's more specific. See?
Yeah. Well, this is the pretty typical pattern. If either cameraman can go close on this, it's pretty much the same, like center, like a crosshatch in the center, and then all of the little featheries in a circle, usually in a circle, because of course with the solid squares, that's what how they would fill that in.
Yeah.
Yes, and more feathers. Wow.
That's it. That's my that's it.
That's it.
That's the stash. Yes.
What a box! Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Good job. Okay, so now I went into my my closets. It's scary. As Patty has said, then she goes looking for her things. Every closet has quilts in it. There are 4 bedrooms. Now there's only one bedroom, 1 bed in my house. But I don't have to talk in this, so let me give it back to you. Anyhow, I decided just how I was going to select which antique quilts I wanted to show you. I decided to honor my hand quilter today. These quilts have all been hand quilted by the same person. Her name is Arlene Meyer. So Arlene Meyer, this is your day. I've gotten the quilts, tops and such. Okay, here's what she looks like. when I wrote and asked her if I could have a picture, she said this is from her church's directory. And so she's just a wonderful, sweet lady. She always corresponds with me, sends me thank you notes. I always get quite excited when I see one of her letters coming. She has the most beautiful handwriting, and it's always in some kind of a cute little envelope, you know, with flowers on the back. And in her letters, she tells me about her family, her garden, her beautiful flowers. I mean, look at the writing on this. She tells me about her group. She does work with a little quilting group, but she does much of the quilting herself right in her own home. And she worries about my health and my care, and so she sent me this card. There's no place like home to rest, recuperate, and get well. And so she's always take good care of yourself. So I've never met her, but through her letters, I feel I know her, and through her quilting. It is phenomenal. Patty looked real close on it. So it's just a stack that I collected. I pulled out 20. I don't know how many more. She's been quilting for me for years. I don't know if she'd do one a year even, that's 40, huh? So we're going to start with just little quilts. But anyhow, I don't know what else to call this. These are little children in their underwear. But it's almost like crayons. It's like a piece of fabric, and the little flowers and such are just kind of soft colors around there. And it's pretty traditional of the little things, the big flower right in the middle. I love it. And the happy flowers and the children just playing and having a great time. So very old, probably from the 40s. Most of my quilts are going to be from the 40s, some earlier. Okay, the next one, I love to collect documentation. This little quilt is called the Sleepyhead Quilt. And I just noticed right down here, the Sleepyhead Quilt, it actually says this was designed by Mary and Wallace Stover, copyright 1944. I was just a twinkle in my dad's eye at that moment. But anyhow, this is also a silk screen. And yeah, it was a silk screen. It called Hiawatha. It was an heirloom product. And see how I have all the little picture? That was the back side of the picture. I don't know. Wonder why. And it just tells you about how to quilt it. But really fun.
Eleanor?
Yes, ma'am.
Panel? Was it a panel?
Yes, it was a panel. I had it for a long time. A lot of things I collect and save for a long time and never do anything with them. But then I get them quilted and they come to life. Oh my gosh, they're wonderful. Okay, this next one I'm really proud of. Our Aunt Anne. This is Carol Ann's mother who did this. And you know, Carol Ann loves to keep her mom busy. So she was giving her one of these every month, and Ann would just sit and do all the cross stitch on it. And so this one I did take and I sent to Arlene, and I just really like the quilting brings it alive too. It's really cute. Yeah.
I was just wondering, how did you happen to get all those quilts? Aunt Ann's quilts.
Well, they gave them to me. Carol Ann gave them to me because she kept on doing them. Carol would have like stacks of those, and it's almost like, you want some of these? Like, yes, of course.
Okay, I
So
thought the grandchildren would get them, but
well, yeah, you know how grandchildren are.
but you take good care of them.
Yeah, and I love it. So I'm proud to say these, I just got the circles, the little blocks. And I like to sit and sew at night watching television. Then I'll actually stay awake. But Arlene took those and quilted. Let's see, I can see. It's really interesting. You go close. she did like a star pattern on the outside, you know, like half a star around it. And then always, oh, Teresa, it's upside down because there's hearts. Here, there's hearts.
Where do you see the hearts?
Right here. Oh, but don't worry. There's a heart, and bet that's upside down. So you have to look at it both ways. And simple. And so that was really fun to do. Okay, this one has a story. You can show this one. This quilt is famous. It's called Egg Money Quilts. Egg Money. And no, goose egg. Okay, too much. Goose egg. I know because I bought a box in an antique store. The cardboard template was inside and it said goose egg on it. There are two templates. There was this one and then this one. And you can see how the woman just really, she was wearing off the edges of the cardboard as she traced around them. Well, a couple of the blocks were done, but then others were cut, and I actually sewed the blocks together using my mom and my Aunt Edna's feed sacks. My mom was the champion of whitening a very dull feed sack. And she used to have feed sacks in her dusting closet, and she was just, some were just too good to dust with. So I actually got them whole, and on the back side you can see that was a whole feed sack. So I knew that, and look, we had to piece it in here together. But I knew that it was called feed sack, or goose egg, okay, goose egg. And I looked in Barbara Brackman's book, and it was not there. But I looked everywhere and couldn't find it. And finally, one day, my mother's friend, Mrs. Fox, Ruth Fox, walked into the living room, and I showed her the block, and I said, "What's the name of this pattern?" And she said, "Goose egg. Don't you know?" Everybody in Zillionople knows goose egg, but nobody else in the country. It was a kind of pattern they just shared with all the neighbors.
Is it called something else?
I couldn't find it at all. And so Arlene wrote a letter to me, and she said, "I saw the goose egg in your nice story in Fawns and Porter's magazine. I loved reading that story, and I saw that quilt. Why, I think that I might have even quilted one of your goose eggs." I'm thinking, Arlene, that was the one you quilted. It's the one and the only one. So it was just really fun. Okay, and this one was in the same box from the antique store. Let's see, are we letting Eric get it first, or is he doing good? So anyhow, these just were little squares that I put together with my mom's white feed sacks. My aunt, everybody had chickens at our house, and my mom had an uncle that had a feed store. And she always talked about the feed sacks, you know, how they say, okay, you're supposed to buy 3 alike, 3 feed sacks alike, so you can make a dress out of it. But anyhow, I really love this one. And notice Arlene's little careful motif right here in the center. She has duplicated this over and over again. Really simple little pieces.
Eleanor, I'm going to interview you. Where did you learn to sew?
My mother taught me how to sew on a feed sack. I used to make blouses out of feed sacks. And when I wore my feed sack blouses, I thought I was really uptown.
She always wore a feed sack blouse. Always. And they were great. Yeah. Her favorite colors, red and blue.
Yeah, I think I used every feed sack in red and blue. Well, Sue Bouchard tells she had to wear feed sack underwear. We didn't have to stoop to that. That was good. Okay, this one I actually made myself. Don't get too excited. You can see I finished it. Whoa. Isn't that fun? Yeah. Pardon me? It is wool on flannel. And it is. It's really rich. I whipped this off my living room wall just to show you. But Arlene did, I said, I want something just simple and cozy, you know, kind of the old-fashioned. So she just did straight lines in it. And I'm not sure. I suspect she did that. I don't remember. But she could take credit for it. Yeah, I really, really like it. Okay, so now we're getting into some of the larger antique quilts. This is a kit from Busilla, and the lines are all marked on it. I'll move out of the way so Eric can go close on it. We're trying to figure out what the flower is. What do you think it is, Patty?
I thought dogwood. That's what my instant reaction was, dogwood.
I better have the mic back just in case Patty talks. Dogwood. Okay, so what's really fun about it is that when I sent it to Arlene, some of this stitching was missing. And she actually embellished all of the stitches. And I can see right here, can you see the little blue line around that? See, that is what the kits had, little blue lines on them. And all of these lines also were from a kit, and she stitched on the lines as well. Okay, Eric, go down along the edge. It's just so beautiful. All of her beautiful feathers.
And the best part, if you come up close, these are appliqued, and there's a little shadow around the edge, and they actually look like they're 3D.
They do.
Can you see that?
They really are beautiful. It is beautiful. So Teresa confessed today that this is the quilt of mine she wants. No pressure on me. But notice the top and the bottom, how pretty the little scallop is. Just beautiful. And I suspect that when this top came to me, this piece of binding was with it because it matches. Sometimes that's really nice whenever people that pass things on give you the binding that matches. And we've preserved it. You have it over there on your side, Teresa, the little clip of fabric. I think maybe it's down on the bottom. Yeah. So Arlene actually included the name Busilla and the number. She cut right off the end just in case, you know, I wanted to recognize it. And a piece of the batting, which is really good to know what's inside. And so that's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, now the next one is also our aunts. This is Aunt Anne. I'm not sure. I think my middle name is named after her, Anne. Yeah, I think this is our mother's mother. And this has such a beautiful pattern. I love if you could show down along the bottom too. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is a cross stitch, and I have to be quite honest. I often see cross stitch quilts in antique stores, but I don't think any of them are as beautiful as the work that she's done in this one. It is just gorgeous. It is just gorgeous and kept in really good condition. So, yeah, she's got two of them here. First, all blue. Ah! Oh, yeah. You know what, though? That is a problem. You have to get enough right in the beginning because dye lots do change. Yeah. And this is her second one that's here. Oh, Doris is, she's just agog. Do you want to run and touch it? You want that one? Oh, yeah, right. I'll put it on the list. But this is also for man. And this you can see is perfect for a twin size bed, made for a twin size, and even an extra long twin, huh? There's enough really to tuck underneath the top, and 2 different colors of thread, but it's totally beautiful. I did get the paperwork on that one too. This is what I really love. Okay, let me see. Okay, so it was actually and this is, yeah, and this is what you get. I mean, this is how do you do this? You get this piece of paper and you make something beautiful out of it? Yeah, I think it's not even 2 pages. So I think I did see a date on this one too. That's what's really fun to keep and collect and find out. So how do you like the show so far? They beautiful? So much fun. Okay, this one has a story too. Sue Bouchard and I were given these blocks, and you know, whenever we get a stack of blocks, we're just always like, who would ever give up those stacks of those blocks? They're all done. They're ready to put together. But then we found out, we gave the blocks to Teresa and asked her to put them together, and then we knew. They're not all the same size. And so anyhow, just Teresa worked and got the lattice and the cornerstones and sent that off to Arlene. So do you know the name of this one? I know you know this one.
It's a shoe fly.
No, not turn dash.
We think is it
Goose in the pond?
Oh, it could be.
Goose in the pond. Yeah, goose in the pond. And I just love the variety of colors. Weren't we lucky that everyone was a different color just to put it together? It's very masculine. You can figure out why they named him that once you know the name. It's a perfect time to tell you about this one. It's called Chimney Sweep. And that's what I just did in AccuQuilt, Chimney Sweep. And Ruth Finley, who wrote America's second quilting book, and it was 1929, she said, of course it's called Chimney Sweep. Don't you know about the youth that they were intimate with the roofs, and they played on the roofs, and that's the bricks. Don't you see the bricks? And then the chimney on top. Come on, don't you see it? Of course, no.
I love it though.
Yeah, it's bricks and chimneys, and if you know. Okay, this one is really beautiful too. This one also has a story. These blocks all came from Loretta Smith. Do you guys remember Loretta Smith? Yeah? Loretta Smith, and she gave all these blocks to me in a box, and she said that her neighbor gave her the box and said, Loretta, if you finish these blocks, you can have them. Well, they didn't get finished. And then Loretta gave them to me, and she said, Elle, if you finish these blocks, you can have them. And I didn't finish them, but I did a lot of quilting on it. So I gave them to Teresa and said, Teresa, will you finish these blocks? And actually, no, she can't have it. That's the closing. This is a pattern from McCall's, and it's so interesting because the fabric looks just about what was in the McCall's pattern. That's what's so amazing. It does, and that's the ice cream cone border. This inspired us to design our ice cream cone rulers. We do have a set of rulers that actually make this outside edge pretty easy to do. And what's really fun is that the center is not covered by a hole. It's got these little Oh, like a cathedral window. Yeah, it's like it's more like a big petal, almost like a petal. And there's 4 separate ones that you put on top of the center. But I want you to look at Arlene's quilting in it. She duplicated more or less the block itself right here in the centers. Did all the crosshatch quilting in it, and then the little ovals, the little petals down between on the seams. And this is not that fine of a bias finish, but she does it by hand. When I send her these quilts, I think about the days and days she must spend going around this outside edge with this bias. So you do good, Arlene. We are going to send her a tape of this. She doesn't know I'm doing this today. Wouldn't it be great if a neighbor tuned in and called her up, said, "You're on today, you're on today." That would be so much fun for her. Okay, this one I think is very, very special too. This was a kit. I actually saw this in one of the magazines. I have years and years of country living, and I saw this in a magazine, and it was a kit. And if you look right here at the quilting, there's like leaves quilted right in there. You can see the blue lines. Can you see the leaves? And then all of this is incredible. But when I sent her this, the leaves were not all finished. And so she went and she put all the leaves together. And look at, this is like machine work. Like, how do fingers sew something that looked like a machine? It's just beautiful. And I especially like this little bit of thread around the outside. It's almost, it reminds us of the magic binding, huh?
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's thread. It's like embroidery. It's either all 6 strands of embroidery floss. I think that's what it is, all 6 strands.
I think it's a stem stitch.
Yeah, stem stitch.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not couched. It's just, they're little stitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and her little binding on there.
Wow.
But I think it's beautiful, just beautiful. Okay, you want to hold it up and show everybody? I'll or if you can manage that.
Oh, I've got it.
Is that gorgeous? It actually, I've put it on a king-size bed kind of sideways. It doesn't really fit, but it looks beautiful. None of these quilts fit king-size, and I have 3 king-size beds in various places. Okay, this one is special. This is 1880 or so, very patriotic, with our eagles. The eagles. And, oh my gosh, look at the eye. I'm like, oh gosh, look at that little eye right in there, in the orange. I suspect that this was more green at one time, and just really wonderful. Turkey red, definitely, and that orange is just a killer, huh? And it's very simple, easy quilting, beautiful. And I saw this hanging in a log cabin in Country Living magazine. And little did I ever know I was going to get one. I found the top. I just have an eye for good condition tops. And when I think they're really worthy of quilting.
You bought the log cabin to go with the quilt.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. And I've never been able to hang that in my log home because the walls aren't right and there's windows and everything, but I would love to do that. This is a quilt from the 40s. This is in Victory Quilts, the airplane. It's one of the popular patterns and not easy to do. And it's actually, when you look at this block, you can see it because 4 corners right here, 4 corners came together, and you see they didn't line up perfectly. So, yeah, and this is not easy to do. It was tricky getting those right angles in there and such. But very, very beautiful, perfect quilting. Little stitches. So I started trying to figure out, just to make sure that Arlene had done them. So my clue was, okay, a new piece of fabric on the back, and then like the mitered corners. And this feels so good. It was kind of like a polished.
It is a nice weight.
Yeah, really nice weight. Cool. All right, we know wedding ring, but how many of you know a yellow setting? Not many with the yellow setting and the purple. These are our school colors. That's why I bought it, right? Fight, fight, Zilly High. But anyhow, it's rather large rings, oversized rings, and I think that it really adds to the attractiveness of it. They're definitely, oh my gosh. These prints just remind me of some of the prints. Orion, he's such a shopper. He got some bundles of 30s reproduction fabric. These fabrics look just like them. You know, if you like the look of this one, you have to go look in the front. You know, dig through that bin. I saw a lady carrying away one. I was bummed I didn't get it first. Really, really pretty. Okay, so this is Arlene's. Look at this. This is her trademark. See? The little motif right here and the leaves coming out. She designs the quilting just to fit into the spaces, the open spaces, and notice this second one that she's done right here. And she just did, she didn't even go in and out of each one. She's got 1/4 of an inch stitching around the inside of each ring. Isn't that beautiful? I know. Don't you wonder what you've been doing all your life? How did they have time to do this? Okay, I think you'll know the name of this pattern. Seven Sisters. Seven Sisters. Okay, so the block is big. Okay, so this is the outline. It's like a hexagon, right? A hexagon with 7 sisters, 1 sister in the middle, and 6 around the outside. Does it have anything to do with stars too, besides sisters? Is it a constellation? It is a constellation. Okay, okay. And the outside edges, I think that, you know, a couple of them we've had just the different edge on the top and the bottom. And it makes a lot of sense because then these hang over nice and straight over the sides. But I'm surprised too, you know, how you wear the top out, you just pull the quilt up under your neck and, you know, just snuggle in there, and then they get worn out. But beautiful, vibrant colors, a lot of reds. I see a lot of checks, a lot of polka dots, so much fun. Oh, fussy cuts. Oh no, fussy cuts. We thought fussy cuts were all new. Did you see? Fussy cuts. Let's look for fussy cuts. You know what? And they're very flat centers too. I think they swirled. Yes, they are. Yeah. Well, they have to kind of, yeah, this is how setting this part. It's like, oh man, I don't want to do that. She made one block and got over it. We get it. Well, yeah, it's easy enough to do the star, but it's getting this inset in here. But you know what they do now, and some of them, they put a seam here. So you kind of flip it and get that one, flip it, and then you sew that together. It's still a lot of work. Forget it. Buy an antique. Okay. This one, this is beautiful. Isn't this one beautiful? Wow. This was kind of unusual for me to purchase. I think that it quilted really nice though, didn't it? Really, really nice. And I love the black binding around the outside edge.
I love the shirtings.
The shirting, yes. The shirting. And tons of time. A lot of them. And and whoever made it, just that one little square in the center and the framing it just around and around and around.
Look how beautifully they match.
I know. Okay, so this is what I see. What is just like overwhelming to me. There is not a seam around here. They literally had to, they had to put this square. This part would have to be completely done, and then when they finished it, they put these squares into each one. No, they had to piece them, keep piecing. Yes, piecing in square. Really, piece as you go, but it is amazing. And then the black, it's just beautiful, gorgeous. And anybody know the name of the pattern? I don't know, it's not 1,000 something or something like that. It looks like a tiny 1,000, yeah. I think Judy might have done something with multiple trips around the world. Well, this one is a lot simpler. Little 9 patches with the red repeated over it. So it pulls everything together, the little red and then the red border around the outside edge. And one thing I love about Arlene, when we looked at this quilt, when Teresa and I looked at this and prepared to send it to her, somebody did a really goofy miter, but she must have fixed all the miters in the red. It was, I don't know where she got the fabric or anything, but you can see this cute little blossom right in the middle of the solid squares, and then she did a square on point in the second block. And then there's just diagonal rows of quilting. Actually, it's kind of simple, but it's just really beautiful. It's striking. It's doable. Yeah, right, Margaret? Yeah, it's doable. For sure. And now we come, I'm sorry. Yes, show that one. Okay. We're not coming to anything yet. You're still admiring this, huh? Have you had fun gathering, Gail? Yeah, you can just look at them. And this one, Teresa just finished the top at Camp Cedar Glen. And she's thinking she might add more to it.
That's funny. It's our circle of friends.
Circle of friends. Circle of friends. With all those beautiful colors. Just think, Teresa, someday somebody's going to look at this and marvel and say, look, there's sharp points and everything's all lined up. How did she do it? Don't you wonder? Everybody always has these. And so that is the last of our antique show. Yay! Did you like it? Cool. Are you having fun being together? Yes. Do you want to keep together? Yes. Keep on going, huh? We're having so much fun. Everybody always says, what's next? What's next? So this is the deal. You bring lunch, we'll teach you. So we decided we're not ready to continue teaching you new blocks for block party. But we've set up 3 full days of sewing, hopefully with you. This is what Orion said. You bring lunch, we'll teach you. Come in to keep up. Always something new. That's always Orion. And it says, stay connected with your circle of friends and sign up today. Wow, that sounds good. You don't want to lose each other, huh? So we set up Tuesday, the second Tuesday is our day. We've got this room and that room reserved, and we can do something all year. So this is a start. This is like a quarter right here, right? Yep, it would be a quarter that we planned. And this is what's really fun. Bring your machine, supplies, potluck dish to share. Kit purchase required. Unpredictable surprises. That's because we don't know what the surprises are yet. They're unpredictable. But these ladies here in the studio can continue to come, but you can do it on the web. Ah, that sounds like fun. How's that going to happen? So we have these three quilts planned that you see them, and they're all on the back. And we're going to teach one of these each second Tuesday of the month. And you can sign up. Okay, turn over. Okay, so the first one is the quick quarter quilt. And that's this one right here. It says with Eleanor Burns and Teresa Barnes. And we have a kit already ready. You love it? So this is actually 24 fat quarters. It's queen size. It's got the border and the binding and the quick quilt book, quick trip. I think that's written wrong. It's quick trip. You're all going to wonder, right? Quick trip. Okay, so anyhow, we put a special price on the kit. And this is the kit right here. It's all cut. So this is how we're going to do it. Class starts at 9. I'll do a video for people at home. You gather your fabric or buy your kit and have it with you. But all of you are going to purchase your kit, and we will start, do one step, watch the video, run to your sewing machine, do that step. Then you all come running back, watch the next video a couple of hours later, and then run back and do it. And we can quilt around the world together. How about that? And that's January 14th. January 14th. And we already put a special price. They can order for $69.95. That's fun.
That's for all the quilt top and the board and the
That's what it's at, and Orion gave me permission to do that. Remember the last one, I got in big trouble? And I said, okay, and the teacher fee is how much? He said, you don't have to charge anything. Just charge them the kit fee, but they have to buy the kit. Well, fine. I work for food. I want my lunch.
Bring chocolate.
Bring chocolate, yeah. Chocolate and coffee, and we'll do it, huh? Okay, so the first day in January is mine. I'll be sharing it with Teresa. And the second one is February 11th. And this is the Secret Garden with Patty. Ooh, the Secret Garden. We did show you this whenever we were doing Block Party, but just in case you didn't get a chance to make it, Martha, where did she go?
She ran away.
So
Martha will cut all the pieces for you.
Did you hear that?
And you can see. Well, I'm sorry. I wanted to grab the fabric. Do you see we have all the fabric here? Yes. It's just not cut yet. But we have until February.
Yes, February 11th.
It's all here. All the same fabric you see in this quilt. You might recognize the cape, these luscious florals, all ready to go, ready to
Yummy.
Cut and ready to sew. Oh, I picked the colors. Yeah. I didn't design the fabric, but I picked the colors. Yeah.
And you see the magic magic binding.
Did you recognize this is my little teaching thing? A little tail. The magic
Here, I'll hold it
for the magic binding.
Okay, stand up straight.
Okay. Thank you. 2 strips. the narrow one cut 1 3/4 inches, and it's the one that you see mostly the green, and the purple is a 2-inch strip, and you see just this little flange. Yeah, 1 3/4. So you sew your 2 strips together, press toward the narrow strip, press in half, and then when you attach it to your quilt, you attach it to the wrong side. Let me see if I can do this.
You start on the back, right,
yeah.
Teresa?
Yes.
Right. I made a mistake a few times.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if I'm doing it. Yeah, you put the wider strip. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just sew it to the back and then wrap around to the front, and then you just stitch in the ditch. Right on that little flange, and it is so cool, and it's all done on the machine.
You know, the size of this quilt, it is possible that you could get it completely sewn on that day. Yes.
It's
Quilt
already
in a
cut.
day. Cool. Cool. That's a good one.
Okay.
All right. And so the third one, maybe we should give that to Teresa, and I should sew it.
Yeah.
Because this is Teresa's. This is called Color Weave. And it's different because this kit is 3 jelly rolls plus the pattern. And the pattern is Krista Watson. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. It's Krista Watson. She is our friend from Benartex.
That's right.
Krista, and now you can talk a little bit about your kit.
Okay, well, I
Color
really
weave.
got inspired just by the pattern itself. I mean, I think she picked up a beautiful colors, but when I saw this jelly roll, I really fell in love with it, and I want to have a really contrast on it, and then I feel like you can see the weave going in and out. At first, I kept saying, how did she do this? Because I was reading the pattern, and I loved it, but then right away when she told me to cut 500 and some 2.5-inch squares, I said, I'm not doing that. That has to be a better way. And then she also said to open your seams, you know, and I said, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, we just did, basically your block is right in here. This is your block.
One
You
block.
repeat. This right here is 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. That's your block. That's it, right here. Okay, and then right here. Then the only difference, she calls this has your A block and your B block. The only difference between the A and B is then I've heard the lighter, what we put a lighter color here, see, in that dark. And then you only do 1 A, and then you do 10 Bs. That's how she wrote her pattern. And then the next one that she calls here, again, this is, again, the second block. That's it, you know. And then now here I had gray on the end. You see how I have the dark gray and not in there? And then she had that now 2 colors instead of the gray, and so on. And the only other thing I make sure I did is these 3 pieces, I sew strips together. And then I work in the pressing. So when you come to class, you'll see everything locks. That's the most amazing thing. And once you do your C block, one of them, then you do your other 10 all the way down to the road. And you use most of your jelly rolls. It's very fun. Then Martha cut them all for us. So I really liked it.
Cool. So you see, this one is on March 10th. March 10th. So this is the thing. We're going to just keep this circle of friends going. You don't have to come at all. You don't have to come to all 3. You can come to 1 or come to 2, whatever you'd like. But it's just a way of keeping us all going together. But anyhow, we have a new fabric line that we would like to show you. Honestly, we just got the new fabric line, I think 2 weeks ago, just before Thanksgiving. And we've been working on little patterns, but we don't have the whole mini block party laid out. But we want to show you the fabric, okay? It's very country. It's just beautiful. You want me to take something? You're going to lift the whole thing up.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So it's stripes, plaids, little flowers. It's got a lot of cherries in it. And the new line is called, let's see, Garden Party. Yay! You all come and be part of the party, the garden party. So this is what we're working on putting together. They're all going to be bright, pretty quilts. And just as you saw today, once you get the pattern, you can do whatever fabric you want to do. So we're hoping just to kind of tell you as the year goes along. We told you a quarter now. Keep in touch with us. We hope to do this in the spring. Remember we started this one in June? In the summer. Yeah, whenever I can stay home long enough to get my act together. That's the goal. So, what do you think? Lots to do, huh? Lots to do. Oh my goodness.